something starts happening to men in their late 30s and 40s that most of them never saw coming. Women who would not have given them a second look 15 years ago are suddenly interested, initiating conversations, being warm, accommodating, genuinely present in a way that feels completely unfamiliar. And the man on the receiving end of this shift is usually confused. He thinks, did I finally figure something out? Did I become more attractive? What changed? Here is the honest answer. And it is more important than most people want to admit. What changed was not you. What changed was the landscape around you. And understanding that distinction clearly, without bitterness and without false flattery, is one of the most valuable things a man in this position can do for himself. Let me explain what actually happens. When a woman is in her mid-20s, her options are at their widest. The attention she receives is abundant. She can afford to be highly selective, and often is. The men she gravitates toward are typically the most visibly successful, the most conventionally attractive, the ones with the most immediate status, and many of those men, the ones at the top of the visible hierarchy, are not looking for commitment. They are enjoying their options too. So what looks like access to high-value men is often just access to casual attention from men who are not choosing her either. But at 25, that distinction is easy to miss. The man who would have genuinely committed to her, the steady, grounded, quietly ambitious man who did not have the flashiest presentation but had genuine substance, he got filtered out, not because he lacked value, because his value was not the kind that announces itself immediately. Fast forward 15 years, the landscape has shifted in ways that are biological, social, and psychological all at once. The pool of available men who match what she was selecting for has narrowed significantly. The men with high visible status are either partnered, dating younger, or carrying their own complications from a decade of avoiding commitment. The biological window she could afford to ignore in her 20s is now impossible to ignore. And the internal clarity that comes with genuine maturity is telling her things her younger self was not ready to hear. That stability matters. That character outlasts chemistry. That a man who shows up consistently is worth more than a man who shows up impressively. So she starts noticing the man she overlooked before, and that man is often you. Now here is where this gets important. There are two ways a man can receive this shift. The first is with ego. He feels validated. He feels like he won something. He uses the sudden attention as revenge for years of being overlooked, either by dismissing these women entirely or by engaging with them purely on his own transactional terms. That response is understandable, but it is not wisdom. It is just the same emotional reactivity dressed in different clothes. The second way is with clarity. He understands what the shift actually means. He recognizes that some of the interest coming his way is genuine, rooted in real maturity and real reassessment. And some of it is driven purely by timeline pressure, by desperation dressed as desire, and he has enough self-respect to tell the difference, that clarity is everything. Because here is the truth underneath all of this. A woman who has genuinely grown, who has done real self-reflection, who understands what she missed and why, she is capable of bringing something real to a relationship at 40 that she could not have brought at 25. Real appreciation. Real emotional availability, real understanding of what actually makes a partnership work. That woman is worth knowing, but a woman who is simply running out of options and adjusting her standards out of panic, without any genuine internal shift, she will carry the resentment of settling into everything she builds with you, and you will feel it, not loudly, but consistently, in the way she compares, in the way she never quite arrives, in the way you always feel like a consolation rather than a choice. The man who understands this dynamic does not need to be bitter about it. He does not need to punish women for choices they made before they knew him, but he does need to be honest with himself about what he is actually looking at when someone new enters his life. Is this genuine interest or timeline urgency? Is this real attraction or pragmatic adjustment? Is this a woman who has grown into knowing what she wants, or a woman who has simply run out of alternatives? You are allowed to ask those questions. You are allowed to have standards. You are allowed to choose someone who chooses you fully, not someone for whom you are the best available option at a difficult moment. Knowing your worth is not arrogance. It is the foundation of every good decision you will ever make about who deserves your time, your energy, and your commitment. That is what this shift is really telling you. Not that you won, but that you always had value, and now you are finally in a position to act like it. At Relation Code, this is what we do. We give you the psychology, the clarity, and the honest perspective that helps you make decisions from a place of genuine self-awareness, not confusion, not bitterness, and not false flattery. If that is the channel you have been looking for, subscribe now. New videos every week. Real insight, no games. And the next video on relation code is one you will not want to miss. We are going deep into why so many men give everything in a relationship and still lose it, and the one mindset shift that changes the entire dynamic. Stay subscribed. That one is coming soon.